Hey everyone! We've got a major severe weather setup unfolding over the next several days across the United States. And I mean all hazards are on the table here. Everything from significant damaging winds to very large hail, and yes, even tornadoes. So, in today's forecast, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about what's heading our way this week. Let's start with what's going on this morning across the country. We've got a line of intense thunderstorms already, pushing through parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas. These storms are packing mainly damaging winds, but embedded tornadoes are definitely a possibility, especially as this line pushes through eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas during the morning hours. This whole system is going to continue its journey east, impacting areas like Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois, and even stretching back into Georgia later this morning and into the afternoon. Damaging winds and isolated tornadoes will remain a threat as that line pushes eastward. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Once today's storms move out toward the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, we're already looking ahead to another big day tomorrow, this time across the southern plains. All hazards will be possible again, and the setup tomorrow actually looks like it could support strong tornadoes, depending on how the storms evolve. Now let's get into more detail about what to expect today, which is Saturday. We've got a large enhanced risk for severe weather, stretching from eastern Oklahoma all the way over to Georgia, through Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. There's also a slight risk that extends out across the southern plains into the mid-Atlantic, and a broader marginal risk that includes parts of Texas and even New Mexico. Pretty much all severe weather hazards are in play today. Damaging winds are going to be widespread, already happening this morning in Oklahoma and Arkansas, and they'll continue through the day as storms move into Dixie Alley. Large hail is also possible, but I don't think that's going to be the main story today. We're probably talking hailstones in the quarter to golf ball size range through the late morning and afternoon. As for the tornado threat today, it's there, but I'm not totally convinced it's going to be significant. Right now, we've got a large 2% tornado risk covering most of Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. A couple of tornadoes could spin up, but I think the better chances were earlier this morning and will probably fade a bit until possibly revving back up this afternoon. Even then, we're probably looking at tornadoes embedded within a line rather than discrete, more dangerous supercells. Now jumping into Sunday, this is where things really heat up again. There are actually 2 separate threats, one along the East Coast and another more significant one back in the southern plains. Over on the East Coast, we're mainly looking at isolated damaging winds, maybe some large hail and a brief tornado, or 2 as what's left of today's storm system moves east. But the bigger story Sunday is going to be across Texas and Oklahoma. There's a large enhanced risk out there, and all hazards are possible. Damaging winds, very large hail, and tornadoes. I'd even say a couple strong tornadoes are on the table if the right ingredients come together. We're already seeing signs of a hatched area for damaging winds across the southern plains, meaning winds could exceed 80 miles per hour tomorrow. So definitely take precautions. Secure anything that's not tied down outside, like trampolines, umbrellas, or patio furniture. Hail could get massive too, maybe even up to 4 or 4.5 inches in diameter from Kansas City down into Oklahoma and parts of northern Texas. And tornadoes? Yep, those are likely too, especially from around St. Louis down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Oklahoma City, Wichita Falls, even into Amarillo. There's also a small 2% tornado risk over in the mid-Atlantic. But again, if we get discrete storms forming there, we could absolutely see a few spin-ups. Timing-wise, storms this morning will continue pushing through Arkansas, maybe brushing southern Missouri. They'll move toward Memphis by late morning, possibly picking up steam again and producing more tornadoes across Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama into the early afternoon. By around 1 p.m., storms will be pushing into areas like Nashville and parts of northern Alabama and Kentucky. All severe hazards remain on the table, but the main threats will be wind and isolated tornadoes. By 4 p.m., expect this line to roll into the Atlanta metro and eastern Tennessee. And between 5 and 6 p.m., as the storms cross the Appalachians, they should begin to weaken, leaving behind just some scattered damaging winds and maybe one or two quick spin-up tornadoes. Now, Sunday's shaping up to be a different beast, especially across the southern plains. Things may start out pretty quiet through the morning and early afternoon, but by around 4 p.m., I expect storms to fire up across the Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma. Damaging winds and large hail will be the first threats, but as these storms organize into a line, tornadoes will likely become more of a concern into the evening. If we get any discrete supercells before things go linear, strong tornadoes will definitely be in play. Right now, it's looking like a more linear setup, which means we're looking at a broad swath of significant damaging winds, especially as these storms roll through the Dallas-Fort Worth area during the evening. By late Sunday night, they'll begin to weaken as they push into Louisiana, Arkansas, and parts of the southeast. Now looking ahead to Monday, it looks like we'll finally get a bit of a break from widespread severe weather. There'll still be some isolated storms across the southeast and high plains, maybe a few supercells with some hail and wind, but nothing too intense for now. Heading into the middle of the week, things do stay active though. We've got a large-scale trough diving down from Canada into Monday and Tuesday, and that's going to help spark some isolated mesoscale convective systems in the Midwest if moisture levels cooperate. After Tuesday, that system will move out, but I still think we're going to see scattered severe storms, especially in the high plains, thanks to some lingering shortwaves. And by mid-June, things start to get a bit more uncertain. We might see a ridge building over the plains that could quiet things down temporarily. But I still think we're due for at least one, maybe two more significant storm systems around the June 15th, 20th window. Also, as we get deeper into the month, we should see the jet stream begin to lift further north, shifting the severe weather threat toward the central and northern plains, the Midwest, and the Ohio Valley. That's pretty typical for this time of year. So, yeah, we've still got some action ahead of us in the southern plains, but I think we've only got a couple more weeks of that before the pattern shifts north. To sum it up, here's a general radar outlook for the next few days. On Monday, that low-pressure system will spin through the Midwest, bringing scattered storms from the southern plains into the southeast. Tuesday still looks a little active, especially in Texas and Oklahoma. Midweek brings more scattered storms in the high plains, but overall things might quiet down just a bit. Now, the weekend might be another story. If we get a trough ejection, we could see more severe weather return to the high plains. It doesn't look too crazy just yet, but we'll be watching. Even though the models aren't screaming big event just yet, I expect to see some mesoscale features like dry lines and small-scale boundaries initiating some supercells in the coming days. June is notorious for that kind of setup, so we're definitely not out of the woods. So again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you're always up to date. Thanks so much for watching today's forecast, and I'll see you all again very soon. Stay safe out there.